Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and men and women of the diaspora. We are living in biblical times and we are living in revelations. A time not to be playing around in, a time that we need to take serious, a time to get close to the Heavenly Father, Yah, which many people call Him God, while you still can. This is not a time for you to be thinking about partying it up on the weekends with every chance you get. Why? Because many things are happening right now from what has been predicted in the Bible. And only those who are alert and diligent and are close to the Heavenly Creator, the one true God in the Bible, who is called Yah, some say Elohim, some say the Most High, some say Yahuwah, Ahaya, and some say Heavenly Father. And his son's name, which some people call Jesus, which is the English name and not Hebrew. Christ was a Israelite who spoke Hebrew, so he would have had a Hebrew name like his father. And that Hebrew name would be Yahusha HaMashiach. Of course, there are other Hebrew names as well for the Messiah. However, we're not going to go in deep about his name at this time. But it does say in the Bible that the Most High God, Yah, his children would know his voice. So that means you will study his word and you will realize that the word of the Most High is very important. And so is the word of the Messiah in the New Testament. And so is his name. You will find this out as well. As you begin to have a closer relationship with the Most High and the Messiah, you will understand this. Now, with that being said, we must look at the events that are unfolding in front of us. The famine that will happen in America and around the world, in some places more than others, is coming into fruition as we speak. Now, let's talk about America's famine, which is upon us now. It's just not in its full effect yet. But believe me, in due time, it will be. And some of you out there in America don't believe what America's experience will not last long. So you do not take the necessary steps to get prepared. Some of you also think that your faith in this system will keep you safe. Some of you will say, yeah, I'll stay afloat no matter what. Some of you think it's just a phase in America that you're going through, and many of you don't even have a clue. All these mindsets I just mentioned, if that is your mindset, or if your mindset is close to what I've just mentioned, then you need to find a quiet place and go pray. Pray to God the Father, Yah, and ask for intuition and inner strength and guidance to prepare you and protect you and your family for what is coming to America. People, I hate to say it, but a real serious famine is coming to America, like that which was in the Bible, where Joseph had to tell the Pharaoh to prepare for the famine that was coming. Read about Joseph in the Bible and that famine in Genesis 41, verses 1 through 57. You see, God gave a dream to the Pharaoh because God can do that. And God also gave the ability to Joseph to interpret the Pharaoh's dreams. And when the Pharaoh listened to Joseph about his dream, Joseph told him, the Pharaoh, to prepare for a famine. He told him there would be 7 years of good, and that's the time to prepare and stock up, and then there'll be 7 years of drought. Now, Joseph gave Pharaoh these instructions, interpreted his dream, and the people in Egypt and the people on the outside regions were able to make it through that famine because of God, the Father, Yah, gave Joseph the instructions to give to the Pharaoh. Now, men and women, you must understand the key points of this message. We must believe in God, the Father, Yah, and we must listen and follow instructions from God, the Father, Yah. Now, sometimes God uses holy men and women to deliver messages to the people, and sometimes he will use Mother Nature. But at any rate, when he delivers the message to you, you're supposed to listen and adhere. For example, let's say someone in your family who has a close relationship with God, the Father, Yah, or a friend of the family has a close relationship with God, the Father, Yah, gets a warning vision from God, and your friend comes to you or your family member, tells you a warning that concerns you. Maybe you're going to attend an event, to go to a concert, and they tell you not to go. It's not good for you to go, or they tell you it's not worth it. And you decide to listen, and you find out that at the concert the next day, half of the stage caught on fire, and there was a stampede, and 50 people died at that same event you were going to attend. That was God the Father, Yah, warning you through your family member or friend. You listened to the instructions of your family or friend, and in return, your life was safe and out of harm's way. Now, the family member or friend had to listen to the instructions from God the Father, Yah, so they could bring it to you. This is one example. Another example is that God can use Mother Nature to warn you. Example, in Arizona and other states and different countries have what you call flash floods. Flash floods, okay? Usually in the valley, certain parts of the valley, and in different areas of parks. You could be walking in a flash flood area on a bright sunny day, and out of nowhere, storm clouds roll in, and it starts to sprinkle, and the momentum of the rain begins to pick up. You look around, and you notice that the path you're on has a debris pattern of branches dried up, piled up in small and large piles along your walkway, and other debris that looks different. Then you look on the sides of you, and you see that you look like you're in a small valley. You realize by looking at Mother Nature, you better get to high ground, because you could be in the path of a serious flash flood. Do you see how God shows his instructions? He has multiple ways of showing you instructions that will help you when you're in harm's way. But the important factor is trusting God's instructions and acting on them before it's too late. So, people, what we need to do is act on God's instructions on what to do when a famine is coming. The same way Joseph acted when God gave him instructions to prepare for the famine that the Pharaoh dreamed of. So you ask yourself, but how do I do that? Well, here are some simple instructions that you need to start applying now. Not tomorrow, not yesterday, but now. Every paycheck you receive, reserve $30 to $50 and purchase canned goods from your nearby dollar store. Get half canned vegetables and half canned meat of your liking, except for pork products. Pork products are an abomination in the Bible, and they have found out that pork is not nutritional as the other white meat, as reported by the Food Institution in its heyday. In fact, it's toxic to the body, and pork carries worm parasites. The only way they die is if you cook the meat on very high temperatures. Okay, if you do not cook this meat on high temperatures, these worms can survive and then live, and in return, they live in your intestines. And then they start eating food as you eat food, and they rely on you, which would be the host, for food. Plus, that is not a meat you want to eat in a famine season. Pork is not a meat you want to eat. It's not nutritious. So now that I've given you the downfall about pork, it's up to you if you want to rely on your taste buds because you like the taste of the bacon, you like the taste of pork chops, you like the taste of ham. That's on you. But it will be your downfall in a famine. Now, you want to save up at least a year's worth of food per person. So if you have kids, you better get busy right now. In fact, the more mouths that need to be fed, then take out more extra money for food to be put into the pantry. You have to take out money, extra money. And some of you say you don't have extra money. Believe me, you will find a way to preserve your well-being by taking out extra dollars. You will make do. Things you will start realizing there's things that you don't need. And you need to start taking that money and purchasing the food products that you will need when this famine comes. Next, you want to purchase dry goods like 25 pounds to 50 pounds of beans, rice, and corn. And you want to also start learning while you can on YouTube how to preserve and can meats. Yes, people, the media is not going to tell you what's coming down the pipeline, but I'm going to tell you what's coming down the pipeline. And I have been preparing. If you got money, get a storage unit and start stocking me up in that storage unit. But make sure the food is not on the floor. Okay? You need to pay attention. The economy, it will do its best to bounce back, but eventually the economy will collapse. The economy will collapse, and in a weak economy, you need to be smart. Yes, that's right. you need to be smart. Now back to instructions. You need to learn how you can preserve meats on YouTube, and you can get these instructions on how to do this on YouTube. Just type in how to can meats or preserve meats, or how to store meats. When storing your foods, you want to keep them at least a foot off the ground. You want to use metal shelves if you can, if possible, and store your food in plastic gallon buckets. Your dry goods, you want to store them in gallon buckets to keep the rodents out of your food, okay? And you're going to do you no good if you got rat poop or mice poop in your food, okay? Because, mice and rats carry disease, and then you get sick, and then, in a famine, I'm sorry, there's not a large market for doctors in that time, okay? They trying to save themselves, okay? Just like you, all right? Make sure you put mothballs or any other rodent repellent alongside the walls of the storage space you put your food in to protect it from rodents. Keep your foods off the floor by a foot or more. Also, make sure you keep the area dry and locked. Also, people, start making amends with your loved ones if possible. Don't let a minor argument keep you from helping one another in these times. There was a movie called Eli, and the actor Denzel Washington was in it. That movie was basically portraying what happened to America after a war. After you seen in the background, roads were torn up. It was after our enemies of America had came over here and dropped bombs. Okay, and people, please wake up. Pearl Harbor got bombed by the Japanese. Okay, we're in an era now where our enemies of America are building up. They're building up, and if they can drop bombs on Pearl Harbor, it can happen again. Just Pearl Harbor won't be the target. There'll be multiple targets in America. Not to try and scare anybody, but just trying to let you know that there will be a World War III coming, and we have no choice because our currency is dropping. Okay, now let's go back. Okay, and talk about making amends. You need to make amends with your family members and get close. This is not a time to be arguing. This is not a time to hold grudges. This is a time now to help one another understand what real love is. Okay, being there for each other. Okay, now some of you are awake to what's happening around the world, and there are some of you that are not awake. But I tell you this, as we get closer to this extreme biblical famine that's around the corner, you'll have family members that will wake up. Unfortunately, a lot of them will wake up too late. Okay? Now, when this happens, they're going to come banging on your door. They're going to come banging on your door. You make sure you pray to God the Father Yah for guidance and instruction, because some people you can help and some you can't help. If you extend your hand out to the wrong person, what does it say in the Bible? Don't cast your pearls to the wicked, just anybody, because they will trample over you and take your pearls. So you have to use sound judgment. And you get that from the all-knowing God, the Father, Yah. So pray for guidance. He will answer you. Believe me, he will answer you. He tells you in the Bible to come to him for wisdom. Also, protect yourself and bear your arms. The Messiah told the apostles to avoid the Gentiles when preaching the word and to trade their tunic in for a sword. In those days, the sword was a gun. Nowadays, the gun is our sword. Read in the Bible Luke 22:36. It shows that the Messiah that all these Christians are talking about, oh, the Messiah, he's like this gentle man. He also told his apostles to carry some protection when they were going out spreading the word. He said, sell your cloak to buy a sword. So what does that tell you? If the Messiah told his own apostles to buy a sword, that means, brothers and sisters, you need to purchase you arms. Okay? Purchase you what you need to protect you and your family. Because when things start happening, you got some protection. Okay? Someone come trying to knock down your door, you got protection. Someone trying to jump on you on the streets because they see what you got and they're trying to get what you got protection. Don't listen to these fake mamby-bamby, misguided soft Christians who say they come in peace, but at home they got an arsenal of assault rifles, grenade launchers, M16s, automatic hunting rifles to pump enough lead in you to send you to the moon if you get lost in their neighborhoods and knock on their door past 10 o'clock at night. Times are going to get so bad that it won't be safe to go outside. When the severe famine hits, because there will be a very bad famine on the horizon, there will be very little order, if any order at all, in the streets. The judicial system, please look at the police in some of these states. So do yourself a favor. Get prepared now for what is coming down the pipeline. You'll be happy that you did. The wars are going to escalate. And when it does, you don't want to be caught with your pants down. America is not the superpower like it once was. At least our currency isn't the superpower. China's currency is top dog now. And America isn't the only one with nuclear warhead power. And guess who is mad at America? Russia, China, Iran, and your rocket man of Korea. In Revelations, guess who Babylon is? It's America. And what does it say in the Bible about Babylon? It says Babylon has fallen. Babylon has fallen. Read Revelations 18, 1 through 8. Once again, read Revelations 18, 1 through 8. Wake up, people, and may God the Father Yah protect his children from destruction. God bless you all. Shalom.